Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Jazair on One Eye, latest weekly news. Here are the headlines, details to be discussed shortly thereafter. President of the Republic decides to hold snap presidential election on 7th September. Words of President of the Republic on occasion of 62nd anniversary of Victory Day. President of the Republic felicitates Russia's President Vladimir Putin on re-election. Government examines statutory instruments on improvement of health coverage. Army General Said Chingri on inspection and walking visit to Air Force Command. Gujil meets Upper House delegation attending 148th IPU Assembly. Zionist warplanes pound south in Gaza as meditation efforts to end Zionist war in the Palestinian enclave appear to be stalling. Climate affair, UN accuses Russia of abuses in occupied Ukraine. And nuclear power on the verge of a revival. Welcome back to details. The President of the Republic, Supreme Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of the National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chaired Wednesday a meeting on the preparations for the upcoming presidential election in the presence of the Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Upper House of Parliament, the Speaker of the People's National Assembly, Lower House of Parliament, the Presidents of the Constitutional Court, the Prime Minister, the Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, PNA, the Director of the Cabinet of the Presidency of the Republic, the Minister of Interior, Local Authorities and National Planning, and the Chairman of the National Independent Authority for Elections. A snap presidential election has been scheduled for Saturday, September 7th, 2024. The electorate will be summoned on June 8, 2024. President of the Republic sent a message on Monday to mark the 62nd anniversary of Victory Day. The President said, "This occasion, whose 62nd anniversary we are celebrating today, marks a turning point following a long course of national struggle as part of the national movement and an armed struggle that lasted 7.5 years, during which the Algerian people paid a heavy price through legends of martyrs. A struggle that remained engraved in history as one of the greatest epic defending freedom and dignity in modern times. We are celebrating this memorable anniversary in a regional and international context that calls for everyone to join forces to unite the ranks, strengthen the home front and priorities in accordance with a national strategic perspective based on the need to fully assume our responsibilities in the face of challenges facing our country." The President of the Republic felicitated Russia's President Vladimir Putin on his re-election, said Monday the Presidency of the Republic in a statement. General Said Chingri, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, PNA, paid a working and inspection visit to the headquarters of the Air Force Command on Sunday, the Ministry of National Defense said in a press release. The government, in a meeting chaired by the Prime Minister Nadil Arbawi on Wednesday, examined the statutory instruments relating to the Act 1811 on health, mainly those aiming to improve national health coverage and reduce transfers abroad for medical care, the Prime Minister's office said in a statement. The Speaker of the Council of Nation, Upper House, Salah Gujil, met Tuesday with a parliamentary delegation from the Council of the Nation that will be taking part in the 148th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, and related meetings, scheduled to start next Saturday in Geneva, Switzerland, according to a press release from the Upper House of Parliament. And in the war on Gaza, Zionist warplanes have carried out strikes on Khan Yunis with explosions and gunfire reported near the Nasser medical complex in southern Gaza City. At least 14 Palestinians have been killed in Zionist strikes overnight on Rafah and Deir el-Balah. Mediation efforts to end Zionist war in Gaza appear to be stalling. And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has again called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza during a visit to the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing. Guterres said that any further onslaught will make things even worse. Worse for Palestinian civilians, worse for hostages, worse for all people in the region. Zionist airstrikes targeted tribal aid distribution workers in Gaza City's Kuwait roundabout, killing at least 23 people. And at least 15 Palestinians killed in Zionist bombing of a house in Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza. And about 50 people killed and 300 detained in Zionist raid on Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital. At least 32,000 Palestinians have been killed and 74 injured in Zionist attacks on Gaza since October 7th. In its first in-depth report on the situation in occupied Ukraine, UN says it found evidence of intimidation, arbitrary detention, and torture. Russia has tortured and arbitrarily detained people in the parts of eastern Ukraine it occupies, creating a climate of fear and suppressing Ukrainian identity, according to the United Nations. The UN's Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine was denied entry to Russian-occupied Ukraine and based its report on remote and in-person interviews with more than 2,300 witnesses and victims.
Thank you, Mr. President. The principle of respect for territorial integrity, Russia's intention to conduct presidential elections from today, 15 March, until 17 March in areas of Ukraine under its control are unacceptable. The UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine has documented that past so-called referenda and local elections have been conducted in a coercive environment.
Global nuclear power generation is set to peak next year, despite claims it is dangerous and costly and plants take too long to build. But nuclear power is being touted by many experts as a clean source of energy. Many nations aiming to decarbonize are now building new reactors, which are mainly supplied by China and Russia. The International Atomic Energy Association expects global nuclear power generation to reach an all-time high next year. It says investment will need to more than double to $100 billion by 2030 to meet the Paris Agreement climate targets. Also, on counting the cost, the European Union has pledged $8 billion to cash-strapped Egypt. We wrap up with the winning of Algeria against Bolivia in a friendly match on March 22nd. The match kicked off at 10 p.m. and Algeria won 3-2. Amin Gouiri scored the first goal on the 43rd minute of the game, followed by 2 goals from Bolivia and 2 from Algeria by Yassine Benzia and Issa Mendy, who made the final score. That's all for today. Many thanks. Enjoy your evening. Goodbye.